How to forgive. It's a very common struggle. And in this video, I am not going to give you advice on what you should do to forgive. I'm going to guide you using the Logosynthesis Basic Procedure so you can experience what can shift with this method. And before we begin, you might want to press pause and make sure you have a glass of water nearby, that you're in a quiet place where you'll be uninterrupted for the next 15 or 20 minutes. And you may want a piece of paper to make a couple notes, but they're just for your own private use. You don't have to share them with anyone. And be sure to feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns when you're going through the video or afterwards. Okay. So take a moment to get a glass of water, pen and paper if you wish, find a quiet spot, and then we will get started. So, to begin, I'm going to ask you to think of a specific situation where you are struggling with how to forgive. And it can be a specific person you're struggling with, a specific event that happened, doesn't matter. It can be something that you're struggling to forgive yourself about. And just take a moment to connect with that. And I'll ask you to notice what thoughts arise. Is there any self talk that comes up as you think of this situation? What are the words that come up to mind? What other thoughts are present? Is it something about the other person? Is it something about yourself? Are there wishes or concerns? Just take a few moments to notice the thoughts. And also now notice the emotions that are present when you think of the situation. It could be anger, frustration, or sadness, or guilt, or shame. And just make note of one or several emotions that are present. You can jot them down if you have a piece of paper if you want. And don't analyze them, just make note that they're there. And when you're connected with these thoughts and emotions, I'm going to ask you where you notice this in your body. How do you experience it? Is it in your chest area? Is it affecting your breathing? Do you notice it in your head, in your shoulders? Just notice. And then when you notice the combined thoughts, the emotions that are arising, the physical sensations that are present, when you really allow yourself to connect with the situation, sometimes the self talk can amp up and the distress can rise a little bit. And I'm going to ask you to rate this level of distress on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is no distress at all, and 10 is maximum distress. It doesn't go above a 10. So 10 is the maximum. And make note of this number. You can jot it down again if you have a piece of paper. So as you allow yourself to be in the space where you're feeling and experiencing the distress, notice what you see and hear in the space around you. This is mental imagery, or it's memory or belief that may be arising. So notice what you see or hear in the space in front of you or behind you. It could be to the left or right. And just give yourself a moment to connect with this. Pay attention to any details. It may not make sense. You may not know why it's there. That's okay. You don't analyze what arises. This is energetic work, so we're not trying to rationalize why it's there. We're noticing what is there. So just notice what's in the space around you, anything you see or hear. It could feel pressure on your shoulders or okay, it could be a color or shape. It could be a picture of a person that may be a picture of the person that's upsetting you. And again, there's no right answer with this. Just notice what's there. Notice what you perceive in the space around you. And now I'm going to ask you to repeat aloud after me 3 sentences, and there's going to be pauses in between each. So, again, you're in a quiet spot. You can just repeat aloud after me. And the first sentence is I retrieve all of my energy bound in this perception and everything it represents, and I take it to the right place in myself. Just let that work, let the energy shift. You don't have to analyze anything, just let the energy shift. Just let the energy shift. And if you want a little bit more time, if it's feeling quite activated, just press pause, let it calm down a bit before we move on to the second sentence. And when you're ready, I'll ask you to repeat the second sentence aloud after me. So I remove all non me energy bound in this perception and everything it represents from all of my cells, all of my bodies, and my personal space, and I send it to where it truly belongs. Again, we'll just allow a pause to let the words work and let the energy shift. You may not be noticing much happening. You may be yawning or your eyes flickering, or maybe your body wants to shake it out a little bit and just feel some movement. It may feel quite intense. So just notice and let the energy shift. It will calm. And now I'll ask you to repeat the third sentence aloud after me. I retrieve all of my energy, bound in all of my reactions to this perception and everything it represents, and I take it to the right place in myself. And once more, we'll let the energy shift. And you can press pause if you still want a bit more time for things to calm down, or you can move on with me. I can ask you to have a drink of water just to reset. And now I will ask you to notice what happens, what shifts, what are you experiencing now? Note the distress, and I'm going to ask you to give it a number on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no distress at all and 10 being maximum, and write down that number. And if you have your pen there, just jot down what you're noticing about your thoughts and emotions and what's happening in your body. And you can also make note of what shifts in the perception in the space around you. So, is the image or the sound any different? Just make note. And then I'm going to ask you to come back and think about this experience where you're struggling with how to forgive and what is different now. Is it more intense? Is it less intense? Is there something else that's bothering you about the situation? Or does it feel calm? And so, what I would suggest is that if the situation feels calm and there's a distress level, if you wrote down, anywhere from a 0 to a 2 or 3, then you might want to just let things settle and move on and notice over the next little while what is different about the situation. If you are feeling that the distress is still active, that there's still something there, maybe the emotions shifted a little bit. You went from being angry to being sad, or you went from being, sometimes you feel a bit guilty about being, not being able to forgive, and then you get really mad at the person. Well, then I recommend doing another cycle of this process. Okay, so you can go back to the beginning of the video and just repeat it. And so, what ends up happening sometimes is that we activate another memory that is also triggering us. Um, if it's something that's been there a long time, if it's someone that's really close to you, and you've had a lot of experiences with them, and maybe they've done a lot of stuff over the time, and it's more than just one situation. It can require some guidance from someone that's professionally trained to guide you through it. And it's not a one and done, but as you repeat the process over and over, you clear away all those older memories, the ones that are distressing. And this creates space not to say, oh, it didn't matter that this happened, or so and so was right and so was wrong, or it's not about placing blame. It's about letting go of the stress reaction so that you can be more present in the situation and take more meaningful action. If we're stuck in not being able to forgive, then we're stuck in stress reactions, and it can be difficult to move forward in a meaningful way. So, this is meant to give you an experience of what can shift. It's not to fix every relationship issue, but it gives you the idea that sometimes it's not so much about changing ourselves or changing the other person or even changing the situation, which is, something that happened in the past. Obviously, we can't do, but even in the present day, it's how do we show up in the situation. So if we change how we automatically react in the moment, then that can allow us to be more present and move forward. And for me, what I notice with this work is that it gives me a greater sense of ease and freedom. I don't get as hijacked by what has happened, and I can be, yeah, I can feel free, and I see the person for who they really are in the moment, rather than always seeing that unfortunate situation perhaps, or that repetitive pattern, or but I can see them in the moment, and I can speak more clearly and articulate better. So that is meant to give you an experience of how to forgive using logosynthesis as an experiential approach, and you can integrate it with all the other advice you get. And if it's anything like what I experienced, then oftentimes I don't need quite as much advice, and I can just let things go and feel more ease and joy and freedom in my everyday life. So I hope it helps. Feel free to reach out to me. There's more videos on this channel if you're interested in subscribing and just seeing what other applications you can use it for. And feel free to get in touch at any time. Take care.